Good evening, good evening. April 24th, David Cashman with SEB Housing, and this is the lottery for the 10 affordable units at Court Crossing in Plymouth. Still waiting to see if any folks are going to join the lottery, so I'm going to sit tight for a moment here, and then we'll get started. Okay, well, it's 6:02. Maybe some folks will stream in, but it's okay if not. This will be recorded. We'll post it on our website, and the results will be sent out to all the lottery households this evening. So let me just start by giving a little bit of background information, and then we'll get into running the lottery. So there were 15 completed applications for the affordable apartments. There are 10 one-bedroom units. When I do the lottery, which will be just in a little bit here, I will pull every applicant's application number from a box. And I have all 15 of those numbers in my box right here, already shaken up and randomized, but I'll shake it up a little more before I do the drawing. And as I pull the numbers out, I will hold them up to the screen so everyone can see. Unlike many lotteries we do, the order that the numbers are pulled out of the box will be the order on the waiting list. And the waiting list is what the leasing office is going to use when they start inviting households to apply for leases. So if you're drawn first, you will be the first lottery household who's going to have an opportunity to select a unit and at this property and potentially rent that unit. Please bear in mind that oftentimes leasing offices will invite more than one household at a time. But again, if you're the first household, you'll get the first pick of any of the 10 units. And if you're the second household, you'll get the second pick, and third household, third pick, and so on and so forth. Many times, the leasing office does have to invite more households than there are units to fill the units. So even if you're not in the top 10 slots, it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get an invite. You might. You just have to wait and see what happens with the 10 households ahead of you if that's the case. After I do the drawing, I will create the waiting list. We'll send those out by email to everyone. You'll find your lottery application number on those waiting lists. That'll be in the form of A.blank blank blank, A.001 through A.015. Again, those numbers are just purely random lottery ticket numbers that we assign to lottery households, but they don't otherwise have any significance or bearing. We just use them so that we're not using applicant names. But so I'll send around the waiting list by email shortly after the lottery. You'll find your number, A.whatever, on the list. That's where you are on the waiting list. If you're highlighted in green, that means you're in one of the top 10 spots. That means you will get an invite to move forward in the next step of the process. If you're in spots 11 through 15, you won't be highlighted in green. and that just means you won't get invited, or you're not going to have an opportunity necessarily to rent a unit unless until one of the households ahead of you doesn't take a unit, which very well may happen, but you just have to wait and see. In the email that I send you, I will also attach a 2-page document with some general information about the lottery and next steps. In there, I'll include the leasing office contact information. So if you have questions and want to get in touch with them, you can reach out. But also, we will share your contact information with them. So when they are ready to start sending invites, which may not be right away, they might need a few days, they will know how to get in touch with you. Please do make sure to respond to that invitation. You can lose your lottery waiting list position if you get an invite and you never respond to it. Please remember that entry into the lottery does not say anything about lease eligibility. SEB does not do lease eligibility screenings, so we never looked at things like your credit history or your tenant history, or if you had a criminal background, or any of those things that leasing offices often look at. So being eligible for the lottery is one step in this process, but it's not the final step. You also have to be lease eligible, which the management team will screen you for. Please remember that SEB is not the management team, which is Megrico or Megrico. So after the lottery, your next point of contact will be the management team. They will be sending out invitations. You can go look at units, learn more about the property, meet someone from the leasing office, fill out a lease application, and they will run it to see if you're lease eligible. If you are lease eligible and you have a high enough position on the waiting list to get a unit, then you would move on to the third and final step that you need to complete, or I guess the second step to complete before renting a unit, which is to come back to SEB to do the full program certification. In order to get into the lottery, you just had to list what your income and assets were, but you didn't have to actually supply bank statements or pay stubs or taxes or any of those things to actually demonstrate what your income and assets are. When you got your lottery application number, you did get a guide that laid out in sort of painstaking detail all of the things that may be required of you after the lottery if you get to this step of the process to show what your income and assets are. So hopefully you've begun to collect some of those things and have them readily available if and when you get to that step with SEB and we say, okay, now's time to produce your 3 months of bank statements and pay stubs and tax returns and tax documents, etc. If you go through that process, provide everything that's required and you're program eligible, then you can move forward and sign a lease. And you'll do that in conjunction with the management team, and they will be your point of contact for determining, lease start date. And that's sort of about it. So I'm going to move on to the drawing here in a minute, which is going to frankly go pretty quickly. I see a few folks here now. Welcome. I stated before folks got on, when I do the drawing, everyone has their lottery application number, which is A dot blank blank blank, and that's just your anonymous identifier. It doesn't mean anything about anything. It's just purely a way of keeping your name out of it. And I'll do the drawing, then shortly thereafter I'll sort them onto the waiting list, and I will send those around in a big BCC email to everyone who's in the lottery, and you'll just find your A dot blank 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 number on the waiting list, and that will tell you where you are. There are 15 households total for 10 units, but oftentimes, virtually every time, not every household who's invited ends up leasing a unit for one reason or another. Maybe they're not lease eligible, maybe they're not program eligible, maybe they have an offer at another opportunity, whatever. Things come up, things change. So if you're not in the top 10, don't despair. You may very well still get an invite and have an opportunity. Do either of you, I see there are two of you here, does anyone have a question, or should I just go ahead and do the drawing? All set? Okay, great. So here's my lottery box. Not very fancy, but effective. Um, and I'm gonna pull the numbers out. I've already shuffled them up, so they're just all in here in a random assortment, and I will show them as I go. So A.005 is first. A.001. A.011. A.013. Oh, A.014. A.004. A.008. A.007. A.006. A.009. A.015. A.003. A.002. A.012. A.010. So I'll just say that again quickly. So, and I'm not going to say A just to spare a little bit of breath. 005, 001, 011, 013, 014, 004, 008, 007, 006, 009, 015, 003, 002, 012, 010. Any questions? Let's see here. Oh, you're muted, William. Oh, there you are.
Okay, there I am. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, good. Thank you. So I just kind of jumped in. I just got home from work here on the tail end. So even if we're outside of that, what was it, 10 units?
Yep.
Or, oh, say, so we're outside of that threshold, it's still, we could still potentially be invited into it because you're saying they might not meet. Okay, all right.
Yeah, because it's a multi-step process. Step one is
Okay,
applying to get into the lottery. Then we do the drawing and create the waiting list. Step
yeah,
two is you get an invite from the leasing office. You go look at units. You submit a lease application. And step
okay,
three is you'd come back to SEB and do a full program certification where you got to produce all your income and asset and tax documentation.
okay,
Somewhere
all
in
right.
those steps, some people don't end up moving forward for one reason
Okay,
or
all
another.
right.
So I can't make you any promises. I can only say having 10 households occupy 10 units, like the first 10 occupying
Yeah.
the 10 units would be extremely unusual.
Okay. All right. All right.
So,
Nope, that was it. Yeah, the
yeah.
financial parts, I literally copied my tax returns onto the application. So I know there's no hidden anything there. So
All right.
um awesome. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm number 14, so on the list there.
Got it. Got it. Well, keep your hopes up. You may very well get an invite. Just be patient.
Okay.
I'll send around, like I said, I'll send around the waiting list. So just find your number on there. And I'll also send around just a little bit of background information about how I ran the lottery and what the next steps are. And that'll be all in an email that I'll try and get out very shortly.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good luck, everyone, and have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah. Bye bye.